Hello and welcome to another episode of the Recovery After Stroke podcast. Before we dive in, I want to thank all the Patreon supporters who make this possible. Your support helps cover the costs of hosting and producing this show. And after 10 years of doing it on my own, I can now keep creating content for stroke survivors who need hope. Thank you also to those who buy my book, leave reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and everyone on YouTube who comments and doesn't skip the ads. You all make a massive difference. Today's guest is Karen Quickenden. She was just 47 when a hemorrhagic stroke struck while she was driving, leading to one of the most dramatic rescues I've ever heard. Police, fire, and an ambulance all working together. Her journey didn't stop there. From months of rehab to selling her farm and traveling across the world to Dr. Tobinick's clinic for 3 shots of Etanercept. Karen's story is one of courage, risk, and surprising breakthroughs. And before we begin, a quick thank you to Banksia Tech, distributors of the Hansen Rehab Glove by Sorebo. The glove is designed to help stroke survivors improve hand function at home. Whether you're early in recovery or years into it, you'll hear more about how Karen uses this exact glove later in the episode. Now sit back and relax and enjoy our conversation. Karen Quigenden, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. What was life like for you before stroke? What did you do? How did you get it by through your day? What did you get up to? What were your hobbies?
What did I do? I went to work Monday to Friday, and I spent the weekends at rodeos and barrel races and all that type of stuff. I did some split shifts, which allowed me to be home in the middle of the day. So there'd be a lot of dealing with horses then. And my daughter at the time was still at school, and she'd get home from school for the day and have something to eat and then start working on horses.
Now,
So,
radios, that's a massive Northern Australian thing.
yeah.
We don't have rodeos in Melbourne. I've never heard of a rodeo. I've never seen a rodeo. I never knew they existed in Australia. Where do they do rodeos and how often do they do them if you were there all the time?
Probably about every second weekend or every weekend.
Uh-huh.
They're all over. They're from Warwick right through to the top end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And how did you participate? Did you just turn up and spectate, or were you guys participating in them?
My daughter rides. Yeah, she rides in it. She does the barrel race, which is the 3 tins, and you go around the 3 of them in a
Figure 8.
yeah, type of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And then they've got to do it the quickest. So it's up to
Yeah. Yeah. So she does that, and she does steer and decorating.
Yep.
And she does the rope and tie.
So you know when a horse doesn't do well, or when the team doesn't do well, do you sometimes get the riders going, the horse is terrible. This horse doesn't know what to do, and then vice versa? Does the horse ever complain about the rider?
No, the horse doesn't complain. She's really lucky. She's got some really amazing horses. So she doesn't really complain that much. She blames herself. So that's good in a way.
She's learning how to take responsibility.
Yeah. Yep. She's turning 19 on Sunday. So it's been three and a half years of going out there and getting things for herself while I do rehab.
Yeah, all kinds of rehab. So what was your kind of work? What work did you do through the week when before the stroke?
SB Care, which was South Burnett Care. So I care for all sorts of people.
Like disability assistance, that type of thing?
Yep.
And that meant that you spend time in people's homes, go in, check in on them, etc.
Yep. That'd be me.
Yeah, fair enough. Your family, what's that like? Is it just you and your daughter, or is there others?
No, I've got 2 older daughters. Tamisha is 30 She runs vet clinics in Brisbane, and she's doing her own thing.
Yep.
She, she's a lovely girl, lovely. And Danica is 29 on the 1st of August, and she's happily married and 3 little girls.
Wow.
So
So it's lovely. So you've got two that are totally independent out of the house, even
yeah,
become
yeah,
mums, and there's grandkids running around and
yeah,
everything. And then you're still caring for your daughter, in her last sort of few teenage years
yeah,
just before she's about to fly the coop. Life's pretty full on. And it's exciting and it's amazing, and you're doing things that you love and
yeah.
you're
That's right.
working. So it's a really active lifestyle.
Yes, yeah,
And up in the Sunshine Coast in the northern part of Australia, there's more sun, there's more warmth, there's a lot of outdoor stuff that's happening.
yeah. There is. Yeah,
Rodeo every second week.
about every second week. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very
And
cool.
we go to barrel races midweek, and yeah, do all sorts.
Did you have a sense of the condition that your body was in it with regards to your health? Would you have described yourself as somebody that was healthy, fit, and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. Healthy, fit. I just did what I had to do.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
old were you at the time? How old were you at the time?
Um, I was 47.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So you were a young mum. If you're 47 at the time and you've got kids that are near their 30s,
Yeah.
you were a young mum.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. So then um, I can imagine at 40-ish, you're still full of energy, real fit, all over, running around, doing all sorts of things.
Yeah. Yep. I get up from about 6 in the morning, and there'd be some days where I finish work at 7 o'clock, and get home, find out which horse has done what, and yeah, it was good. It was
So,
real good.
so what happened on the day of the stroke? Do you have any recollections of what that day was like?
Yeah, it was like a normal day, and I'd been to 2 clients that morning, and then I was driving back into town, and I thought, oh, I might stop at Woolworths, and then I started feeling really funny, and I thought, oh no, blow it, I'll just go home, and I started going home, and I pulled up at these set of lights, and I was looking around trying to work out what was wrong, and I still didn't get it. I drove forward and kept going, and then I went, something's amiss. Something's gone really funny. And I pulled over, and then I realized that my right hand wasn't working. And I thought, what? What's wrong? And then I thought, oh, rightio, I'll keep going. I'll get home. Dad will know what's wrong. And I went down, I went around a big roundabout, and I started heading out an old creek road. And yeah, apparently the police had spotted me. It really like, it's funny for police to see me. And I was all over the road, and the police were behind me, and they come up beside me, and they thought, this girl, there's something wrong. Like, she's not just drink driving or or anything like that. There's something really wrong. She's not seeing us. They got in front, and I sent him again, and I thought, oh my god, what's wrong with me? I can't stop the car. And um and then they stopped in front of me, and I went boom straight up the back of them, and I thought, oh my god. And he couldn't get in the front of my car, and I thought, what's going on? And then he got into the back of the car, and I just thought, oh, okay, well, I'm going to sleep. And then I don't remember anything from then apparently the fire brigade was there, the ambulance, and everything was there. And I woke up in Kingaroy Hospital, and I was just laying in the hospital, couldn't speak. And I was laying there and I looked around at everything and I thought, what are they doing to me? Like, and I looked over to the left-hand side, and my daughter was standing there and she was crying and crying and crying. And I couldn't even ask, what's wrong with me? What has happened? And yeah, it was big things from then on. Like,
Tremendous. We'll be back with more of Karen's remarkable story in just a moment. But first, the sponsor of today's show is banksiatech.com.au, proudly distributing the Cerebo Hansen Rehab Glove, a soft robotic glove that helps stroke survivors exercise and improve hand mobility at home. Whether you're regaining function or preventing stiffness, it's a practical tool that makes rehab accessible. You can learn more and order even internationally at banksiatech.com.au. I love being able to share these kinds of solutions with my listeners. They are the perfect sponsor because they're real products. They can help stroke survivors keep moving forward. Now, back to Karen's story and her decision to travel overseas for Edward Tobinick's Etanercept stroke treatment. My God,
yeah,
the cops are involved, the fires are involved,
yeah,
ambos
yeah,
are involved.
yeah,
That's the most dramatic stroke experience that I've ever heard. I mean,
yeah,
all of them are ridiculous and shocking, but even that one, when you're driving and
yeah,
people are trying to help you while you're in a car,
yeah,
they're trying to stop the car and you run into the police car. Oh man, that is so dramatic. And I can't believe, like, that would have been almost like one of those slow motion hot pursuits, where they're chasing after a car, but
yeah,
where they're chasing after a car and the person's going really slow, but it's like the most cute high speed chase ever.
yeah,
You've woken up in hospital, people are around you, everyone's trying to work out what's wrong. When is the first time you're noticing or you become aware that you're unwell? It's you that the problem is and you've had a stroke.
yeah. Well, I still didn't know what it was at Kingaroy. I knew that it was me, and like I went back out to it then, and then I woke up and they were putting me in a helicopter. And I remember looking at the faces of the guys and I'm thinking, where am I going? But I couldn't ask, so I couldn't say anything. And I thought, all right, okay. So got in the helicopter and went back to sleep. And I woke up as we were coming down in Brisbane, and I just remember going like this, and the guy grabbed me a vomit bag and everything, and because I hadn't eaten all day, like I'm like, where's the food? I'm hungry, and but I couldn't ask, and I vomited and had a look around, and I thought, oh God, and I went back to sleep. And I landed in the PA, and
Prince,
and
Prince Alfred or
sorry,
Prince A, PA, is that which hospital is that?
Princess Alexandra, I think it
Ah,
is. And yeah, they took me in there, and I opened my eyes, and I saw everyone around the room, all in their whites, and I thought, holy hell, this is real. What's going on? And they gave me needles and all sorts. They took me into theatre. They did what they had to do, and then I woke up in the room at midnight. And I looked, and Tamisha and Danica and Mitch were there, and I looked at them, and they went, "Oh my God, Mum, you're awake. You're okay." And I was like, but my voice wouldn't let me talk.
uh-huh.
And a nurse come in and said, all right, guys, it's midnight. let your mother sleep now. She's awake, she's okay. And I went back to sleep and I woke up the next morning and my right arm and leg were just there. And I'm like, what has gone on? Oh, really? Like, this is not funny. And the doctors and that come around and they started talking to me and I said, I can't talk. And they said, oh, that's all right. And they went through and they've gone, Karen, you've had a stroke. And I went, me? And they're going, yes, you have. And I said, nah, I'm not like, I think I got out old enough. And they said, yes, you are. Everyone can have a stroke. It happens to everyone, any age. And I've gone, whoa. And I asked 6 weeks, 8 weeks, how they said, oh, you want to know how long it takes? And they said, how long is the piece of string? And oh my God, I cried.
You're hilarious.
Oh,
So even in that moment, you're in denial, firstly. Day two, right? You woke
yeah,
up, they tell you you have a stroke. Fair enough. That's, I'm 47. I'm not
yeah,
old enough to have a stroke. That's cool. Denial. And then immediately, like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, like it's a broken bone. You kind of imagine
yes,
that they'll give you a timeline, you'll work towards that, you'll be back on board and
yep,
back to normal, quote unquote, normal life.
yep, yeah,
That would have been hard to handle. So that's day two. You're already thinking about your recovery and how quickly you can go back to your
yes,
life.
yep,
It's like already these guys are breaking your heart.
yeah, yep. It
How long
was,
did you spend in hospital?
I spent 3 weeks in Brisbane and I was getting cranky because you're in a room and there's 4 beds and it's pretty disturbing. It's like people in there for different things, stroke, different, it's all different.
Everyone's
But
unwell. Everyone's doing it.
yeah, and everyone's trying to number one, realize what's going on with them. And then you got the person in the next bed who's tied down to the bed and trying to, like, they're filling him up with all sorts of medication. And then you got the guy across from me, and that there's
Traumatic.
people, everyone's got their own thing.
Mm.
And you get woken up about 3 times a night because the guy across is having a medical episode, and you're just laying there and you're just thinking, oh my God, please do something, like. So they
But
they organized my own room, and that was heaven. That was the first night of sleep, and
mm,
like it was just me. I could think, I could, think about everything, and it was just me in that little room. I didn't have to worry about anyone else. And then they came in and said that the Kiwana Hospital, which is University Hospital on the Sunshine Coast, is ready to have me. And I said, yeehaw. So
the rehab hospital.
yeah, it was the best. It
Okay.
was the best.
So when originally you went to Kingaroy, how close is that to your home?
At the time I was living out there, it was about 15 minutes to
Okay, so
home.
Kingaroy was the sort of small hospital out of the
Yeah,
way in the middle of nowhere
yeah,
where you guys all lived on your farm and played on your horses. It wasn't equipped to handle a stroke patient, so they flew you almost, what, 2 hours away.
Uh, it's
By
about,
car, it's about 3 hours to Brisbane.
yeah, yeah,
So they flew you to the nearest hospital that could
yeah,
handle your stroke, the situation that you were in. And then also, then you went to rehabilitation.
yeah.
Was that somewhere near Brisbane?
Uh, it was, it's about 2 hours, about an hour and a half away from it. Yeah,
That's closer to home.
yeah. Well, it's probably about the same distance. And I mean, it was home for what, 3 months, 4 months?
So you spent a lot of
Yeah,
time there. And that's what I'm trying to get my head around. Now, you're away from home,
yep,
family.
yep.
It's really inconvenient technically to be where you are. Were they around? Were they able to be there for you?
Well, Tamisha lived in Brisbane. So when I was in hospital in Brisbane, she was there every day. She'd bring her work with her, and I'd wake up and she'd be there, and we would start talking on a blackboard. And I remember one day I was trying to say something, and I went, "Fuck," and she said, "What?" And I said, "No." And we started laughing, and we're just like, come on, fix it. Like, start working. It's only a voice. And then the day that I came back to Sunshine Coast was a Thursday night. And she was in there and got me organized, and the ambulance come and brought me up to hospital. And then it was Danica's turn. um, she had two kids then, and they were wonderful. They would, like, I'd have a daily routine of what I had to do, and I was awake at 8 o'clock, ready to go down to the gym room, and I'd go all day. I'd get time off for lunch, and then they'd take me back down, and I'd do something else. And like, I would work in the gym from 8 to 12 and then from 1 to 3 in a day. And I always had it. I couldn't understand the mental side of it. Like, it was like I wanted to keep going, but
Yeah.
the body was saying, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to that. I'm like,
Fatigue and
what's
exhaustion, right?
wrong?
Just gone.
Yeah,
And no matter what you wanted to do, it was no doing it. That was it. It was just done.
yep, yep.
I know that feeling. It's like you hit a brick wall, and lots of people have said that to me. I hit a brick wall today, but I'm like feeling like I actually smacked into that thing at an hour, and it was solid, and it didn't move an inch, and it put me on my ass, and that was. And until I sit down and rest and recover, there is no getting back up and doing anything else.
Yeah, yep,
Yep, I know that. So in this 3 month, like you seem very happy-go-lucky, quite chirpy and cheerful.
yeah, yep,
Did you have your downs as well, or
yeah, I did.
what was
Yeah.
that like? What were the parts that kind of upset you?
Um, oh God.
Like they still do, right? I understand. Yeah,
Yep. I think the biggest thing was my daughter being at home, and I couldn't be there for her.
yeah. The youngest, hey,
Yep.
was at home alone.
She was at home with my dad. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she seems like though, if she grew up around you and her sisters, that she would have been quite the independent kid. And
Yep.
Yeah. Nonetheless, you're thinking about her going through it on her own, kind of, without you and without anyone attending to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, my dad was always there, but you know what dads are like. Dads are very um very different to mum.
Supportive in a different way.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. They are not mum. And definitely she's thinking about mum actually being unwell away.
yeah,
And you wanted to kind of prove to her that you'll be right, that everything will get better. But you couldn't do that because you were in a hospital elsewhere.
fighting the battle.
So your rehab and your recovery, what were you trying to get back? Obviously your voice and then
Yeah,
your right side of your body. What parts of the right side of your body were offline?
the leg and right up the you know, my chest and right up to the shoulder, the neck, the arm, everything. Everything was down.
And where are they now after nearly, what, 3 years?
Um, in 3 years, it's come a long way, but it's like anything. It will take time.
Yeah.
Time I don't have. Well, I do. I've lost the time. um, I went over to Florida in February.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Oh, what a oh, magnificent. If you look at my face, I have a dimple back.
Oh my God. You went to Florida and you got a dimple.
I couldn't care about anything else, but he showed me a mirror and I looked and I went, my God, I got a dimple.
So you're talking about Dr. Tobinick, right?
Yes, that's him.
Okay. So this is interesting, right? We have mixed responses. People go to Tobinick and they get no result because of the condition doesn't support the medication. Etanercept doesn't help
Yeah,
a particular person, and
yeah,
therefore that person ends up being disappointed and dealing with all sorts of things, right? We
yeah,
totally get it. And then we get other people who just rave about it and think it's amazing. And everyone hears those stories and then goes there with hope that they will be one of the lucky ones, right? We'll call it that.
yeah,
So you went there, but it didn't miraculously fix everything. You've got your dimple back. I understand that that is really important. My wife has got one dimple. She's always had one dimple.
yeah,
And I kind of always ask her, where did the other one go? Has it been relocated? Where is it? Anyhow, you obviously are attached to your dimples. You very fond of them, right? So when one
yeah,
disappears, you notice.
yeah. I noticed the dimple, the inside of my mouth, which I didn't think anything was wrong. There was, because I said to him, it's gone. And he goes, what? I said, thing in my mouth. And he said, what's it feel like now? I said, normal. It
Ah.
feels normal. And he
So there
goes,
was a
okay.
problem inside your mouth as a result of the stroke. You had a strange feeling
Yes.
on the inside of your mouth on the right side as well.
And it was gone. I was like, oh, thank God. I didn't even know it was there. But after having the injection, I was like, wow, that's that's great. And I got no pain in my neck. Um, that's all gone. I can lift my arm up. Um, I got no pain on my left side in my ribs or anything like that down to my hip. Um, my leg is getting stronger and stronger up the top of the leg, and yeah, it's moving around. It's still to this day, I'm finding things are always getting better.
All right. How long ago was this trip to?
In this February.
Okay.
Yeah.
So February 2025.
Yep.
It's been now, and now we're recording in July
Yep.
2025. So it's
Yep.
been about 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about how you found out about it and what made you go? Let's talk about the discovery of the etanercept
Yeah.
treatment for stroke survivors. How did you discover it?
Um, I had a worker out at Kingaroy and she rang me and she said, I've got a stroke client. And I said, oh, yeah. And she said she only had her stroke 6 months ago or something at the time of the phone call. And I said, yeah, how's she going? She goes, no good. She's like her husband saying she must not get out of the chair. She must not do this, do that. So she doesn't do anything. I said, oh, that's not good. And she said, yeah, she's not you. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, I want you to look this up for me and see what you think because this lady is going for it and I think you benefit from it. I said, oh, okay. And she gave me his name and everything, and I had a look and researched as much as I could. I went to my parents and told them about it, and of course, when it come down to the money side, they were just like, really, they didn't know what to say.
Because it's a lot of money, right? They're thinking
Yep,
heaps of money. What are you going to do? You're going to go over there, blah, blah, blah. The usual thing that people think of,
yep.
right? So what what's the money amount in Aussie dollars? What would it cost?
I think it's about 30,000.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lot of money,
Yeah.
and so I had to go through selling the farm, selling everything, um, getting the money for it, and I did all that, and we went. I rang Tamisha, my oldest daughter, and I told her about it, and she goes, "Yep. So when are we going?" I said, "Right, I'm going. You said you're going. I'm going." And I booked, and we were up at 3 o'clock one night, and had a phone call with him, and it was like, this isn't happening. And I said, I can't believe that I'm going. Like, I've got an opportunity here. It better work. So we booked a holiday as well. We saw the Bahamas, all sorts.
Okay.
We did all sorts while we were there. I
Okay. So
tried to do everything I possibly could.
why not? You may as well. You've gone so far.
Yep.
You've traveled halfway around the planet. You may as well. Now,
Yeah.
in those initial conversations with Dr. Tobinick, do you get a sense of you also might not get a result? Does he let you know that there is a
Yep.
possibility that it might not work?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
But
how do you take that news? Like, if he's upfront and says that, how do you take that news knowing I'm going to go there, I'm going to drop 30 grand, and then it might not work? How do you deal with that?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think about it. I was on a high, I suppose.
Yeah, you just have to
Um,
do it, eh?
but I think um, planning as if we were going on holidays
Uh-huh.
was probably a good thing because we were, Tamisha has everything down to the T.
She's one of
Like,
those
yeah.
organized people. Oh my God.
And I thought, I don't know if I'm going to follow follow your routine, but I'll try.
Yeah, because you're probably also thinking about being exhausted and
Yeah.
all the stuff that you have to deal with. But you and her, I mean, at her her age, like, just before 30 and you at 47, you guys are like sisters more than anything.
Yeah, all the time.
So it's very high energy, very full on. And then you guys do the deal, so to speak. You have your chat with Tobinick. Tobinick tells you all the pros and cons. You make an informed decision, and then you go, I'm off. You also book a holiday so you can make
Yep,
the most of it. But you get to Florida and then you go to the clinic.
yep.
Tell me about how that goes for you. What is that like?
It's it was like, well, this is my turn. And you go in there and the staff are amazing. They're really positive, nice, general people, like, yeah, they were great. And they took us into a room and did little tests on me. Like, the one that sticks to me is, can you draw a clock? Yeah. So you do the outside, you do the numbers, and can you place the hands at 10 to 11? I said, yep. And I did all that and everything else that they asked me, and I gave it to them. And they took me in, gave me the first needle, which you put your head down, puts the needle in, then swings the chair up, and you're laying back for 10 minutes, I suppose. And they're talking away, having their own conversation, and I'm laying there and I'm thinking, oh, what's happening? Like, yeah, and if it flips me back up and says, can you feel anything? And I said, no. It wasn't until he put the mirror in front of me that I could see it all happening. And I went back for the second needle at a week's time. They didn't do much of investigation against me then. It was sort of like, just let it do its thing and see you in a week. I said, okay. And I go back for my last one, and they said, we'll get you to do a clock again. And I said, yeah, no worries. And I did it, and I did it perfectly. And they showed me the one that they first got me to do. I went, oh my God.
The
I
difference.
said, didn't do that, did I? And they said, yep, you did. I went, oh my God.
Wow.
It was like looking at a child in kindergarten doing a clock, and then looking at a now she's in grade 2 looking at a clock. It's so different.
You didn't happen to take a photo of it, did you?
No, I didn't.
That would have been funny to
No.
see.
Oh, it was
So,
unreal.
that first week, were you noticing things improving? Did the pain in your neck go and
Oh,
did your leg
yes.
get better? So you
Yeah.
noticed the first lot of difference happen quickly as well as the dimple.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And even my leg felt lighter because it feels quite heavy. Yeah, it felt lighter. By the time I had the third needle, I noticed that my hands, I couldn't touch it. I couldn't do that. Everything is just improving all the time.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
good. So after the second needle, was it more subtle, the changes, or did you have like big changes, big notice?
Probably not, I don't think. But there was nothing to really report though. Like, it was just, I felt the same. Dimple was the same. It probably wasn't till the third needle that I started to notice big changes. Like,
Ah,
the dimple was definitely there. It wasn't going anywhere. Yeah,
3 injections.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the third needle
yeah,
happened a week after the second one?
yep, yep, yeah,
Wow. And then you started to feel even lighter. What happened
yep,
then?
yep. It was funny because um the hand, like the shoulder, everything feels really good. But I say, why won't it work? And they're like, well, it takes time. So keep working at it. And I said, okay, I'll keep going. Uh,
Wow. So, with your stay, are you staying nearby an accommodation near there the whole time?
yeah, we stayed at
And in that time, do you have access to the clinic if you have any questions or any problems or challenges?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And since then, has there been any follow-up? Do you check in or touch base with anybody about anything?
They did 4 weeks after I got back. They sent me an email and I sent back and they said, well, good luck. And they'll talk to me in February, see how I'm going.
So,
So,
so there'll be a follow-up at some point
yeah,
just to check in.
yeah.
Do you think any of it has eased off? Any of the improvements have eased off, or are they all still
Oh,
basically the way they were?
no, like even like my speech is a lot better. The brain fog is gone. Um, yeah, good.
Yeah. So it sounds like looking back now, it sounds like your life has changed dramatically,
Yep,
physically,
yep,
emotionally, and mentally. It seems like there's been a big shift.
yep. Yeah, a big shift.
What would you say is the biggest thing, the most important thing? I know there's still things that need to come back and that
Yeah.
you're working on and that are not 100% where they you would might prefer. But what do you say is the biggest thing that is improved for you now?
I think probably the brain and the the normality of the face and the leg and arm, whatever. I've I think to myself, well, it'll get there one day, but at least to look at me, you say, yeah, I've had a stroke. Oh, have you?
Okay.
Instead of them looking at me and going, oh, she's had a stroke, blah blah blah.
So it's
Yeah,
not obvious that you have had a stroke if people just look at you and they're not paying attention to you.
yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
yeah, yeah.
So what about you though? Like what have you discovered about yourself? Like did you find new strength or were you always kind of really able to get through difficult times and challenges? Or how have you personally evolved and changed?
I suppose I haven't changed that much. Probably thinking more about me and like I've got to go to the gym twice a week. I've got to go. I've got to go to this and that and whatever. And whereas before that wouldn't have been a choice to me, like going to work, getting home to my daughter, doing what has to be done is done. But nowadays it's like go to the OT, go to this physio, go to that physio, go to, you know, from Monday to Friday is everything about me. And that frees me up for the weekend.
But that seems to be a really important lesson that you learned that the time has come to make it about you. And
Yeah,
everyone else can kind of fend for themselves. Your older daughter's obviously, and your younger daughter's old enough now. She's getting old enough where she's becoming more independent.
yeah, yeah,
You've laid
yeah,
the foundations for them already. They know how to continue on with their life, what they've got to get done.
yeah,
Now you've got some space for you.
yeah, that's right.
That's
Mm.
cool. And then what's the idea behind coming on the podcast? What were your thoughts? when you discovered there was a podcast and that you'd like to share your story. What was that for?
My OT, Effie, said to me, "Do you know Bill, the podcaster?" I said, "Yeah, I've listened to him a few times." And she said, "Getting to contact you." I said, "Oh, okay." That was it.
You seemed really willing to share your story. Now, Effie is the sponsor of this episode, by the way, through one of their organizations that they do this glove. You might have seen this one. They supply
Yeah,
the Cerebo hand glove to people.
I use it every week.
Okay, so this is not an ad for Effie and her organization, although they are the sponsor, and
Yeah,
whoever's listening to this has already heard me mention them twice
yeah,
in the intro and in the mid-episode break. But that's really cool that you use that glove, that Effie
oh,
suggested you should be on here. I really
yeah,
love that. I think it's a really important part of the recovery is that sharing the story and getting
yeah,
it off your chest and making it about somebody else, because
yeah,
people who listen to you will get encouraged. Um, they'll relate to your story perhaps, and they'll relate to what you went through. They might even think
yeah,
about contacting Tobinick and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah.
Um, and I really appreciate you sharing your story in your own way. It is pretty dramatic, your one. I got to say, Ambo's helicopter, fireys,
Oh,
tops. Um, and you're probably one of the few people who drove into the cop car and didn't get arrested
yeah,
or didn't end up in jail. That's
oh,
pretty cool. You can say you've done that.
yeah,
Man, it's difficult though. I understand how difficult it can be. If you
yeah,
could share one lesson from your experience with the people listening, maybe people who are newly diagnosed, maybe even listening in hospital,
yeah.
anything you'd say?
Just keep going. That's all I can say is keep going. One day we'll all be back to, well, you could say normal, but what's normal?
A different kind.
Yeah, I think there's never, like, there's no date. You can't put a date on it. Like, by this date, it'll be all over and you just get up and walk away. Well, hello. There's no date.
Your 6 weeks
But
has blown out a little.
yeah, way out.
Yeah.
But you'll get there. Everyone will get there. I know it's horrible and it's I tell you, the best thing I ever did was got my license.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first thing that I wanted to get because my daughter got a learner's and I could sit next to her.
Ah,
I was allowed to do that. So we put the gooseneck on and we go. And I say to her, "I can't wait to be driving this." And she goes, "Just sit there and be quiet." And then I spoke to the girls from NDIS and I said, "Right, how do I go about getting my license?" And they said,
sure. That's a National Disability Insurance Scheme here.
"Yeah." And yes, I spoke with my OT at the time who was out at Kingaroy and I said, "I'm ready. I've got to get my license." And yeah, so within a few months and some driving with a guy in his car, and I was just like, "Come on, give it to me." And then I I got my license, and yeah, it was just
So they initially took it off you after you became unwell.
yeah.
They cancelled your license, yep. And then you had to resit the test and everything, right?
Uh, no,
Oh,
I had to drive. I had to go over to Toowoomba, and they had a lady over there. Had to sit with her one day and talk through it all. And I suppose she was checking that my mind was up to date with it all. And I remember saying to her, I might not sound as though I'm 100%, but it's all up here. And yeah, so we went driving, and NDIS pay for the modifications, and went for a drive in it, and I was like, never again will you see me sitting still. I gotta be doing things. And even if I'm at home and I just go for a drive somewhere, look at the beaches, drive out to Gatton where Marley is living, and we're going today actually. Today she's doing some roping training with a guy that does roping, and tomorrow we go to a little town called Texas.
Texas, Australia.
Yeah,
Classic.
yeah. So that'll be my weekend.
I love it. It's so lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for joining me, willing
Oh,
to
that's all
be.
right.
I really appreciate it. I'm
Yeah.
just curious, actually, before we go, you know that glove.
Oh,
How have you liked it? Does it work well? What's the situation with it?
oh, it's great. It puts your hand out and sucks back in, out and in, out and in. I do that for however long.
Is that your right hand? Can
Yeah,
you
yep,
show us your right hand? Can you put
yep.
it on the screen? Can you bring it up? Okay, so it's normally in that position, and then when you use this, it helps to straighten it.
Yep, straightens it out.
And have you found that as a result of using this, your hand has improved?
Yes, and they keep the second skin on it as well, and it sits probably like that
Okay.
with the skin on. When I don't have the second skin on, it sits like that.
Okay, so your hand with this opens up, and even though you've got that second skin on, this can still go over the top.
I take the second skin off and use it, and it's great. It's, well, you couldn't tell. Oh, it's just fantastic.
Right,
It's,
right. It helps
yeah,
with the rehab. Okay. And your hand has it been like that since day one?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And have you found that it's more flexible and opens better and closes better since?
Yep, yep.
Did that change with the etanercept injection as well? Did it improve?
Um, Probably a little bit, but not as much as the machine.
It did with the hand glove, the
Yeah.
Cerebro hand glove.
The I suppose you could put it as if it's getting repaired. It's like the shoulder's working. It's making its way down to the hand. It's about elbow mark at the moment. It's still got a fair bit to do, but
So the glove does the work at the other end.
yeah, it's so good.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good to know. I haven't met anyone who's used it, so that was really cool to know that you use it, and also
Yeah.
the guys are sponsoring the episode, so that's really cool. So
Yeah.
honestly, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast, sharing your story. I wish you
right.
well in your recovery, and I hope everything goes well. Congratulations on all your achievements. Thanks for sharing your story about the etanercept, and it's all been amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's all right.
That was Karen Quickenden sharing her incredible recovery journey from colliding with a police car on the day of her stroke to regaining independence and hope through Dr. Tobinick's stroke treatment. Her story is a powerful reminder that recovery is possible in ways we might not expect. Remember to subscribe to the Recovery After Stroke podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you've found this conversation helpful, consider supporting the show through Patreon. Your support keeps this resource alive for stroke survivors worldwide. Finally, remember to check out my book, The Unexpected Way That a Stroke Became the Best Thing That Happened. It's available at recoveryafterstroke.com/book, and it's all about how to move from struggle toward post-traumatic growth. Thanks again to Banksia Tech for supporting this show and episode and for helping stroke survivors improve hand function with the Cerebo Hansen Rehab Glove. I'm Bill Gassiamas. Thank you for joining me. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Importantly, we present many podcasts designed to give you an insight and understanding into the experiences of other individuals. Opinions and treatment protocols discussed during any podcast are the individual's own experience, and we do not necessarily share the same opinion, nor do we recommend any treatment protocol discussed. All content on this website and any linked blog, podcast, or video material controlled this website or content is created and produced for informational purposes only and is largely based on the personal experience of Bill Gassiamas. The content is intended to complement your medical treatment and support healing. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice and should not be relied on as health advice. The information is general and may not be suitable for your personal injuries, circumstances, or health objectives. Do not use our content as a standalone resource to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease for therapeutic purposes or as a substitute for the advice of a health professional. Never delay seeking advice or disregard the advice of a medical professional, your doctor, or your rehabilitation program based on our content. If you have any questions or concerns about your health or medical condition, please seek guidance from a doctor or other medical professional. If you are experiencing a health emergency or think you might be, call 000 if in Australia, or your local emergency number immediately for emergency assistance, or go to the nearest hospital emergency department. Medical information changes constantly. While we aim to provide current, quality information in our content, we do not provide any guarantees and assume no legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, currency, or completeness of the content. If you choose to rely on any information within our content, you do so solely at your own risk. We are careful with links we provide. However, third-party links from our website are followed at your own risk, and we are not responsible for any information you find there.